Hello, my name is Elena Avram, and today's presentation is part of the iSports project on the prevention, detection, and combat of sexual harassment in sports. To start with, let's see what is sexual harassment and abuse. Many times you will find it as SHA, and is pretty much different forms of sex discrimination. Within this category of discrimination are included any unwanted, groomed, or forced involvement in sexual behavior. Additionally, any kind of jokes, threats, intimidation, bullying, approaches, or actions of a sexual nature are all forms of SHA. SHA is unwanted and creates an unhealthy atmosphere everywhere that might take place, including, of course, sports. On 8th of February 2007, International Olympic Committee's Executive Board adopted a statement on sexual harassment and abuse in sport. Harassment and abuse in sport can take place various forms and are not restricted to only those that are sexual in nature. More specifically, the International Olympic Committee gives us 5 broad categories of SHA. First category, gender harassment. Second, sexual abuse. Third, homophobia. 4, hazing. 5, bystanding. Let's see these categories in more detail. The first category, the gender harassment, is not necessarily needed to be sexual. It involves any form of harassment, verbal or non-verbal, that involves disrespectful message towards a person's gender. Asking the athlete to conform to stereotypical gender norms is harassment. Additionally, addressing an athlete by sexually suggestive terms such as babe or sweetie is also harassment. For example, if someone tells a female athlete to stop thinking about a career in sports and work as a housewife instead, that is harassment. Moving to the second category, the one of sexual abuse, any form of non-consensual, sexually charged, verbal, non-verbal, or physical behavior constitutes sexual abuse. Sexual abuse can be intended or unintended. Grooming is one of the ways in which sexual abuse happens. Grooming is when a person builds up a good relationship with the intended victim before abusing him or her. Staring at an athlete's private parts or inviting the athlete over to one's place for the purpose of sexual activity are forms of sexual abuse. Third category is homophobia. Discrimination against people who are gay, lesbian, or bisexual is homophobia. Also, discrimination against people who are transsexual is transphobia. Any form of verbal or non-verbal communication that insults or makes fun of a person's sexual orientation is homophobia. Even jokes that make fun of a person who is seen as physically different is a form of harassment. For example, if a boy or a girl for some reason is called lesbian, that is definitely harassment. Refusing to share with a person from the same sex because he might or is gay is also homophobia. So it's a form of harassment. Fourth category is hazing. Raging or bullying in any form, physical or mental, is called hazing. This might happen inside a hostel as well as of the training grounds. Hazing can happen due to seniority as well as because of class, social status, lifestyle choices, for example, vegetarianism versus non-vegetarianism, or any religious practices. Modeling is a form of hazing, where a person is pulled out of the game for no justifiable reason. Giving an example, if a senior athlete asks a junior athlete to do some work for him or her, that is hazing. The last category is bystanding. Bystanding is not taking action when abuse is suspected. By not taking action, the guilty party is indirectly encouraged to abuse, harass, or even more. Sometimes the victim might not feel comfortable to lodge a complaint, but the victim might hint at abuse by dropping hints through nonverbal gestures or decline in performance. For example, if an athlete appears uncomfortable or breaks down without any evident reason, immediately an inquiry should be made. Overall, the right behavior is to intervene after witnessing harassment, discrimination, or any other inappropriate contact. More specific on sexual harassment, when you break down this category of sexual harassment, there is further three types. These include the verbal, the nonverbal, and the physical. Let's see them. The verbal part includes any sexual innuendos, any hints or remarks, any insults, any humor or jokes about sex or gender specific traits, any sexual propositions, pressure for sexual activity, implied or verbal threats concerning one's jobs or grade, sexist remarks about a person's clothing, body, or sexual activities, persistent requests for dates, spreading rumors about individuals' sex life. These are all included in verbal sexual harassment. Moving on to nonverbal, any suggestive or insulting sounds, leering, staring, licking lips or ogling, whistling, obscene gestures, displaying sexual pictures, writings or objects, obscene letters or invitations, unwanted love letters or notes, touching, pinching, brushing the body, patting, assault, coerced, sexual intercourse, cornering, or blocking, all those are part of the physical sexual harassment. Unfortunately, the effects of sexual harassment are massive, not only on the physical part, but also, of course, on the mental part. The physical consequences of shy in sport and outside of sport are often more easily detectable than the ones of psychological ones, and which they are not so visible. The athlete who has experienced SHA may present with various medical and somatizing concerns to the sports physician. Physical reactions may include headaches, lethargy, sleep disturbances, weight fluctuations, and poor general health satisfaction. As psychological consequences of SHA are less observable, the detection of these concerns requires awareness that such problems occur in the world of sport and are possible consequences of SHA. Those effects, you will see them as maybe absurd anger, the reduction in performance, avoidance, increased absentee rate, self-blaming, and etc. Overall, if for any reason you think that you've been harassed, you always have to ask yourself, do I feel uncomfortable with this situation or behavior? If you what is considered acceptable or unacceptable behavior in the school or the sport, talk to the harasser, make sure you point out that you're not happy with the behavior, tell teacher or administrator or someone who can help. This is our duty as educators, and we try our best to make sure this horrible situation called sexual harassment is eliminated from everywhere, including sports. Thank you.